Hi everyone and welcome back to a fairly special episode of Let's Play Star Trek Online. I say special because I finally hit a milestone with the Sarthon carrier here. I have not only broken, well obviously 10k I've obviously broken, I've done that many times before, but actually I just ran an ISA run and I for the first time broke 30k. Now 30k to anyone who's running a tactical ship or a scimitar isn't exactly a huge amount of DPS, but for a science captain flying a carrier it's pretty, yeah, it's not bad. I think that guys flying Vestas can probably do a bit more, will probably do a lot more to say the truth, but overall obviously happy that I hit the 30k mark, but also rather worried of the fact I've gone back over the video, which I'll show later, and I made a mess of quite a lot of things in the run. I didn't really run as well as I could have done. I missed several triggers, missed Photonic Fleet a few times, missed a few sensor scans. You know, it really was a bit of a messy run overall, so I was incredibly surprised to see what I'd actually hit. But I have made some changes to her, so let's just have a quick look at her. You'll see I've not got a shield here because I've been upgrading. I'll be doing, or I have been doing some bug hunt runs to try and get all the salvage technology, and I've just got fully upgraded Undine stuff, and you can pretty much walk through it with Mark 14 Undine gear, but I will do that another time. So we're back with the Sarthon carrier. This is a build that probably will not last for much longer. I say that because currently I believe the epic versions of these science consoles are way too powerful, and that has been acknowledged, so I think that they're getting nerfed. Or at least there'll be something like, because what's basically happened is I only have one epic one, so I'm not doing like a full quote-unquote plasma dope build, especially since I'm not using the full 4. These two are also not very rare, but basically if you look at the stats here, you'll see 309.5 plasma damage per second for 15 seconds if you trigger. On the epic one it's 451. It adds another 50% damage, which can cause ticks which are absolutely unreal. And if you have 4 of these, and the way the maths works is really strange, but I think that the way it works is, well, to be fair, basically I went on Reddit and I found some discussion going on regarding the plasma generating weapon amplifiers, or the signal nullifying ones, and basically the idea is that it's 2.5% is the roll that happens, but if one triggers they all trigger, so it ends up with like 4 massive plasma fires on the thing, and it's ticking for like 10k a second. It's really ridiculous. And guys who are flying Vestas basically have like 5 of these epic consoles equipped and the quantum phaser or whatever it's called, and they end up doing sort of 20k ticks with just plasma, and it's especially with these beam consoles. So yes, I'm using a sort of plasma dope build. I could upgrade these and go full plasma dope, but I'm not quite there yet. To be honest, the way it's built at the moment, these consoles are probably about equal to Polaron consoles. But the other side of that equation, and the reason why I think this build is probably going to get nerfed so I wouldn't copy it, is I'm using the neutronic torpedo, and I believe there's currently an issue with torpedo spread 3 with this. They actually made it shoot only 3 torpedoes as opposed to 4 on torpedo spread 3 because they figured it was too powerful, but apparently it's still too powerful on that front. I basically crafted the torpedo launcher just because I wanted to do this right at the start of it, because that was what the build on the on Reddit I'd actually it was the build on Reddit that I'd actually found. So therefore it's a you know, it's a ridiculously good torpedo, so I'm not too sure what they're going to do with it, but I have heard that is going to end up getting a nerf. Having said that though, I still think that even unless they like make the torpedo do 0 damage, you know, I think that a build similar to this can still be very capable of hitting in the 30k range. I said that I piloted this like a nonce, and you will see that, but we'll just go through the build very quickly. First of all, let's just have a look at some stats. You can see I've increased a few things here. I now have 92,500 hull as opposed to the 70,500 that I had last time. That is basically because I've now got a bioneural infusion circuits on the ship. Gives me a pretty big boost to structural integrity and gives me a crit severity boost as well, which is kind of what I was missing on a lot of my shots. I also now have 14,500 shields on each side. That is pretty much exclusively because of this, a exotic particle field exciter with the flow mechanic on it. This is a craftable, but obviously they're quite expensive to craft, and something like this will probably set you back like 60 million energy credits on the exchange, something along those lines. They're pretty expensive to buy. The most expensive ones, I believe, are the ones which have the part gen, so it gives you plus 75 particle generators. That's the direction I believe that people will go if they nerf the flow build. They'll just put particle generators in and just form an absolute monster. And that's kind of where I felt that my build was going wrong. Was that, well, not necessarily going wrong, it was just the fact I think I had too much drain in it. Draining's fine, but for the most part, this game is about DPS. So therefore, particle generators are where you're going to get your DPS from. So I've got a little bit extra here. I've taken out the new Kara set for the assimilated set. My kinetic cutting beam I upgraded to Mark 14 and got it to upgrade to ultra rare as well. So you can actually see it's a 360 beam which does 1200 DPS there. Plus it has all the plasma procs and blah 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 blah. Plus, because I still have a fairly decent flow capacitors with this ship, it's not as high as it was. If I turn an enemy ship's shields offline, the cutting beam just wrecks it, and therefore that's a big deal. Plus the kinetic cutting beam can also start a plasma fire. So we've also got the protonic polarons that I had, and I also have the advanced thoron infused polaron beam array. That is again, that is pretty much exclusively 992 DPS, so it's still pretty good. It's slightly better than a polaron array. The reason I've got that is because of the 2 set, the Delta Quadrant 2 set. If you have a 2 set with the Delta, the neutronic torpedo gets a pretty big cooldown on it, which is what you need because the neutronic torpedo takes like 15 seconds to cool down if you don't have the 2-bit. So that's pretty nuts, pretty nuts having the 2-bit. The other part of this kit is the bioneural infusion circuits, which I do have in my inventory. Where is it? There they are. Not bad. They do give a cooldown reduction to bridge officers and they buff your shields quite heavily, but I think that the bioneural infusion circuits are better than the bioneural gel pack. Maybe I can upgrade this to Mark 14 and see what the difference is there. What else have I got that's different? I actually got myself a subspace field modulator. I went and beat up some Breen, and I think it's no, it's not Breen, it's Davidians. I went and beat up some Davidians, and I ended up with one of these, which is very useful. And oh yes, I changed my deflector. I changed from the Jem'Hadar deflector to the Dyson deflector, and then I changed to this one, which is the Solene deflector. And the reason I changed that is because it gives you 40 particle generators, plus another bucket load of structural integrity. So that's why I've suddenly got a 92,000 hull ship, is because of these 2 little additions to it, giving me some plus 60 to my hull integrity. All reses are still quite low. Fortunately, I'm using the new Kara thing, so because my orc power is high, my defense goes up. And you can see my crit chance severity is slightly higher than it was before, so that's always going to help with DPS. But the most important thing, I've still got 255 flow capacitors, so it's not exactly low. You know, it was over 300 before, but what makes it better now is that I've got almost 200 particle generators. What I would do if they nerf flow, or I feel like I need some part gen, I would swap out a couple of these for particle generator ones instead of flows, and that'd get me up to about 250 particle gen and 200 flow, and that'd probably mean I do even more damage than that. But that's the build. What I am also planning on doing with Star Trek Online, I plan on doing what I'm calling a Path to 10k series. It's basically for you guys who might be struggling a little bit with your DPS, might not know where to go with builds or anything like that, and I think that is what I think that could be very useful for you guys. I can also do some building on a budget or something like that, where I take a standard T5 ship. Let me just have a look here. So hey guys, meet the USS Nuevo. This is the Dyson Science Destroyer that you could get from the, I believe it was the 4th anniversary event. It was the Step Between Stars mission. So I think that was an anniversary event. So this is another one of the free ships that you can get. About 150 points away from the new Kabali ship. And I figured what I wanted to do was do a quote-unquote Path to 10k series. Reason for that being that obviously you can see here, I mean I've got a DPS 10k channel over here, but really if you're going to be doing advanced stuff, you don't have to. I mean, I admit I have passes where I have been the only player in ISA to be doing over 10k DPS and we've won, but having that 10k DPS just makes it an awful lot easier to do everything. It makes everything smoother, and really it's just a little bit of a let's just put her in tactical mode so you can see the cool stuff. There you go. 10k DPS just makes things an awful lot easier, and really it's not that hard to do. It's really all about knowing your ship. Now, I am a science captain, so therefore I am sort of limited by the fact that all I know are science. You know, all I'm going to be able to sort of max out is science ships. However, I would do fine in a tactical ship as well. It's really just knowing what abilities are good. And therefore, we are going to go through some abilities. We're going to go through how to synergize your ship, how to figure out what's good for it, where we can potentially cut corners. What have I got on here? Oh, this is a plasma beam ship. I see. With really crappy mods on those. Never mind. But this will definitely be a ship that I feel like I can play around with. Because I think that this will definitely be a interesting one for certainly you guys who might not be as familiar with building up your ship, so you guys who don't quite have as much thought or put a lot of thought behind it. Let's just go back into science. There we go, back in science mode. I love how these little things have been done. I think that that's really good. But I will save that for another time, because what you guys probably want to see is you more than likely want to see the 30k run. I am warning you now, there will be frustration in there, because I don't think that it will be, it's not exactly a smooth run, but we'll see how it goes, and I will see you shortly. Okay, so here we go. I am with the guys in the 10k DPS channel for this. This is ISA, it's or Infected Space Advanced. So yes, for all those of you who were calling me out for absolutely ages, I am running Advanced now, and the first thing I do is get in the way of our Jem'Hadar Dreadnought. So We're starting out really well there, and also it took me an absolute age for me to start firing. So we've not done so well so far. One thing I do need to do, I need to get my keybinds sorted. I started using I started kind of using them. I've bound them, but I'm not happy with the way they're bound. I'm actually contemplating getting a proper sort of MMO mouse, but I really like the mouse that I'm using at the moment, so I'm just going to have to sort of put them on a good place on the keyboard for this to really work. Now, this run start, I mean, number one, I take a bit of a blast from the cube there, which really isn't too clever. You can see the amount of delay that there currently is in the interface, which is a little bit, well, it's not a little bit annoying, it's a whole lot annoying. And I'm currently on fire and burning at a really big... You can actually see how fast I am burning there. Huge top spread 3 going on there, but unfortunately what happened was that I think some of it ended up in the way of the gateway, and I've managed to attract absolutely everything to my direction, so we're going to pop evasive. Somehow I ended up healed all the way back up to 100. I'm not sure what happened there. So I'm going to pop evasive, pop everything else, and bombs away, fellas! Yeah, unfortunately I didn't manage to kill any of them. My shields are now down, and yeah. So at this point I'm already sort of... You can see the ship's actually still burning. I believe that's radiation damage because I can't see the plasma fire dot. So I think that that's radiation damage from the torpedo, so you can see just how ridiculous those torpedoes are. So I'm actually already writing off this run, as it were. I might get another top spread 3 in here. No. I'm actually writing this run off as far as DPS goes at the moment. This is only sort of the third or fourth time I've played this actual build, because I've mainly been doing the Omega stuff recently. I hate the delay, it's so annoying. I've actually been doing the Omega minigame grind more than anything else recently on STO. So, God, those things do ridiculous damage. So I haven't had much chance to fly this build, which you can probably tell. However, I am a super big fan of it. And it does do, I think with a more, I think that if I'd have managed to stay alive and just been really competent with my flying and trigger things when I should have done, like my photonic fleet, like my sensor scan, everything like that. We need a tractor beam repulsor here. Good. Unfortunately, my Grabwell 3 got caught on a massively long cooldown and I couldn't actually get out of the way. What I should have done there, God, you can see how much that... Number one, the radiation, and number two, the tractor beam hit for. It's like radiation does serious damage on this. I'm actually wondering, I have to cloak here, otherwise I'm going to get killed again. I actually wonder if they're going to change the damage type of radiation or something along those lines. I'm really not sure. You'll see me change target there because I could then get the top spread 3 away. One of those hit for 40,000. There was a critical there for 39,000 something. I'm in trouble again here. Everything appears to be on. It was at this point where I was kind of thinking, ouch. It was at this point where I was kind of thinking, God, ow. It was at this point I was thinking, I must be doing ridiculous damage here because everything is... everything is noticing me. So I throw... That's an emergency bio shield. That's one of the 8472 abilities. And you'll see it's actually healing my shields faster than the Borg can damage it. And because I've now got aggro off the tactical cube, I am pretty much just hitting it with every single energy drain I have to try and make its weapons fail. Except for the Breen Energy Siphon. Come on, Boomer, you're better than that. You know about that Breen Energy Siphon. I'm literally, at the moment, my main focus is staying alive here. There you go, just hit it with as many debuffs as you can. Make as many things on it fail as possible, and hopefully that'll be enough for it to... Hopefully that'll be enough for us to get through this. Another torp spread, just to set it on fire a bit. I'm using tractor beam. Definitely use tractor beam repulsor as much as possible. Yes, you'll get stuff all on top of you, but God does it do damage. I should probably use Tycoon's Rift there rather than Grabwell 3. I think Grabwell 3 does more damage, but it... again, the delay there is really a pain in the backside because you want to use... you want to really use Tactical Team to equalize your shields, and if there's like a 2-second delay, then that makes that causes real problems. So, my first thought was that was not a good run. Because I died, and you know, we took quite a long time, and then we get the figures up here, and you'll notice this was where I started swearing at the screen. 29,974. Now, for those of you who are familiar with the DPS channels, the DPS channels are 10k, 30k, 50k, 75k. But, I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't start doing 30k runs until I got way more familiar with my ship. But you know, being 26 off, I was absolutely infuriated at this point. Someone's done almost 30k without having space trait on. I died, and that cost as well. So you know, we both got myself and I don't even know how to pronounce that. Both myself and him are sort of whining at the moment because we fell just short of the mark. And I'm saying there in the chat, I reckon that probably could have been a 35k run, maybe even higher if I'd have actually piloted better. And that's how, you know, that is how much piloting matters, and that's something we'll be focusing. That was something something that we'll definitely focus on in the 10k build. But I actually ask for an upload because that's actually the best for me. Once the passes run, you can get someone to upload, or you can upload it, and that will go into what channels you are. But we're kind of lucky because we get another pass coming in from one of the guys, which this is weird. I'm actually not sure because they were using the same, the same thoughts, but this second pass, which is just coming now, there you go, that second pass shows 30,000 or 30,400, and that's because I believe the combat time is a couple of seconds shorter. Now I'm honestly not sure. That might just be because I didn't fire until later, but I'm really not sure. But if that's counted, then it's a 30k run. It's unfortunate I didn't have a pass loading, but I mean, either way, I was 24 off a 30k run with terrible piloting. I'm pretty sure the ship's easily capable of 30k. Anyway, guys, that is it for this mission, and that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and give me your feedback if you guys want to see those that Path to 10k series. If you guys are interested in that, I will see what I can do. And thanks very much for watching, guys. This is Boomer, and I'll see you next time.